Open Mind TV.
We're back.
Hello and welcome to Open Mind UFO Radio. This is your host, Alejandro Rojas, and I am here with my good friend, Mr. Douglas Smythe of Phoenix Shaving.
What's up, folks? It's good to be here.
If you aren't aware, although probably those of you who are watching are aware since you're YouTubers and such, Doug and I do a Thursday show called What is Doug Reading? Because he's always reading some weirdo crap, and we like to talk about it, and it's a lot of fun.
It's true. All of this is true. Guilty.
But it's really interesting stuff. So like we talked about The Morning of Magicians. Is that what it was called yesterday? It's this book written in 1964 that started 1960 that started a lot of the conspiracy theories and ancient alien kind of lore.
Yeah, actually, before Eric von Daniken was even thinking about ancient aliens, it was in this book.
Mm-hmm. See, people like weirdo crap. Eric just said weirdo crap.
Oh, Eric knows. Eric, I know all you guys.
Rocks. Yeah, I like weirdo crap. That's cool. That's why we started the show, so we can talk about it. But it's interesting. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, breaks up the monotony of everyday life.
Exactly. So, which of course this topic UFOs do as well. So let's get into some UFO stuff. So first of all, welcome all of you who are joining live. Cartola from Canada is saying the world is weird. That's a good point. Jock is here. Renee is here. Eric is here. A lot of our usual suspects like to harass us, and Dirk is here too.
You know, Renee brings up Miley Cyrus and the UFO visitation she had.
Sighting.
So I did hear about that this week. So before the show, Alejandro was asking if I knew of any, UFO stuff that happened or transpired this week, and I couldn't think of anything, but I did see that in passing.
What did you see?
That she was being followed or stalked by I could be getting this wrong. I don't think I am though. I think she was being followed by a UFO, and they had some type of connection, and that's really all I got to. It wasn't just a soundbite, Sure.
I just looked for a second. She said something about how she was stoned and she saw a UFO. And I didn't read a whole lot about it. But yeah, she had a sighting. I guess Kim Kardashian shared she had 2 sightings. I know I've written about one of her sightings in the past. And I think one of her sisters said she didn't believe her, something like that. There was some celebrity UFO stuff in the news. That's for sure.
It's, and it's trendy, I guess. So who's to say what's really going on? But the Miley thing, I'd like to know a little bit more. So I thought she gave up smoking pot. Wasn't that her thing? Like,
I don't know. Well, maybe this was back when she was.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I don't know much about it. I'd love to learn more. Actually,
all right. So welcome, Diederik from Amsterdam. I did catch that. We got Louise again from the Unidentified Celebrity Review. Osvaldo, welcome, guys. Louise has this story. He says she bought weed wax off a guy in a van, and then she looked an alien in the eye.
When you're Miley Cyrus, do you need to have a drug dealer? Now that marijuana is legal in most places nowadays, is there ever a guy in a van anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. There'll always be the guy in the van, I think.
That's true.
In a Walmart parking lot, she got it. He's saying, "Oh my god!" She said, "It looked like a yellow snowplow." Luckily, our listeners here are well versed on the case, and they're letting us in on all the details. So
yes.
Cool. So, otherwise, in other news, I've been doing. I've had 2 interviews this last week with James Fox, the guy who did the documentary, filmmaker, The Phenomena. Of course, a friend of mine for a long time. I did one for the Rojas reports that will go into lockdown. So that's going to go into the archives today, just so you know. And because what I'm doing with these live shows is for the Rojas reports is they're free for a few days and to join us live, but then they go into archives and you can subscribe right here on YouTube. You'll see a join button where you can subscribe and get to all those just for a few bucks. And that really helps me out. You could subscribe at 2 levels. Subscribe both levels, you get the same thing. It's just if you get the higher level, it means you're cooler and you're just helping me out more. Thank you very much. You can also subscribe on Patreon, and you get the videos, full access to the videos and audio versions that I post on Patreon depending on the level that you join there. So check that out. But I also did an interview with James Fox right now. I just got done doing one for Den of Geek. Oh, by the way, I do have an article up, and I should talk about this because this is really cool on the Den of Geek. In fact, I'm going to check right now as we're talking if my other one is up yet, because I have 2 Den of Geek articles I wrote. One of them, which is really cool, that I want to talk about. I'm going to bring it up on the screen too. Share that screen. Sharing the screen. That's my share screen.
Screen sharing.
So yeah, check this one out. The Right Stuff companion documentary from Nat Geo to feature unseen space program footage. So I don't know if you've seen this, Doug, but
No.
there is a Right Stuff TV show on Disney Plus. And do you remember what The Right Stuff is?
That was a movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a movie based on a book that was about essentially the Mercury 7 astronauts.
Right.
Of which Gordon Cooper, who we're going to talk about him again too, but Gordon Cooper is one of those. And so this is a series going on Disney Plus. But when they show the last episode in a couple weeks here, they're also going to show this documentary called The Real Right Stuff. And I've interviewed the guy before, and he really liked this. I said, The Real Right Stuff gives The Right Stuff the Jennings treatment. Award-winning filmmaker Tom Jennings has a history of digging up rare footage to put together narratorless documentaries. So I've interviewed Jennings before, and he likes how I use this phrase, the Jennings treatment, because he does. What's really cool is what he does is he goes into the archive of all the media that was done in the past and then puts it together. And there's no narrator. He just uses the media stories to tell the story.
Oh,
and it's incredible. It's really cool.
It's probably more objective that way.
Yeah, it's kind of more
to an extent. I mean, you're still picking the content, but I mean,
I guess, but
the story tell itself.
It puts the event in historical context because you get to see the perspective of the media at that time. And
True Crime's been doing that lately too. True crime shows.
Oh yeah, they do that a lot.
Yeah,
which is really cool because you get a real feeling for what it was like, to be there when this stuff was happening and to experience it, which is really cool.
Right.
So that's an article I've got up there, and let's see, you guys can all check this with me. No, my newest article isn't here. So keep an eye out here. I wrote another article on this new TV show, another Disney Plus show that's done by National Geographic. Both of these are produced by National Geographic. This one's called Disney's Magic Animal Kingdom, and it's essentially the zoos. There's a zoo at Animal Kingdom in Epcot, and it's amazing. And this is a show kind of behind the show Animal Zoo Place show. And so it's really cool. You get to see them interacting with the animals and everything. It's a great show, and I wrote an article about it. So really cool stuff. So someone's saying, that they've seen some debunker was saying Gordon Cooper made up sensational BS in the later years. We'll get into Gordon Cooper actually. So I'll address that. I disagree with that because Gordon Cooper, what they're referring to in particular is Gordon Cooper had 2 UFO sightings.
Right. Yeah, I know about that.
1951, he had a sighting where he was with his squadron of jet fighters in Germany, and they saw another squadron, a group of objects fly by. They chased them. They couldn't catch them. And these things had some weird maneuvers. And then in 1957, he was at Edward Air Force Base. He says that, he was in charge of a crew that was filming like a rocket or something, some experiment. But on this dry lake bed, this large craft that looked like, your typical UFO saucer allegedly landed and then took off, and they filmed it. Right. Cooper looked at the film, saw that, it was what they said, called the Air Force. They sent a courier who collected the film, and he never saw it again and wasn't able to retrieve it. And we'll talk more about that in a second. So, although there were claims that he had said he had a sighting when he was on a Mercury mission, when he was in space, he said that's not true. He never did. So it was just those first two, not the Mercury ones that were true. So we'll get into that.
He's a legend. I mean, he really was a superstar. I mean,
yeah,
when he was spinning out of control, he's doing mathematics really quick, trying to, adjust his pattern and flight pattern. I mean, like, it just very special astronaut, that guy. So
yeah. And I read that he was the inspiration for the Right Stuff. Like, it was his story, because I guess he was the youngest of the Mercury 7, and that he was the inspiration for the author.
Was it 7 or 5? It was 7. Okay. I get him confused.
Doug.
I'm sorry. Hi, guys. I've seen all these comments. I should be. Thank you for the hat compliment.
This is a new guy that is somebody who's been joining our videos lately. Bats are people too. He was in our recent. So this is another thing I did. The Scientific Coalition for UAP Research, of course, is an organization I work with, and we had a presentation by Dr. Michael Masters that we posted earlier this week too, on Wednesday, and his thing. Do you know about him, Doug?
The physicist?
No.
Michael Masters. Name sounds familiar. Jog my memory.
He is like an anthropological biologist, something like that. But essentially, he wrote this book about identified flying objects, about how he believes the science shows, the science fits that what people are seeing
is us from the future.
Is us from the future.
Yeah, yes, I do know. Yeah.
And he's got some great science and stuff to back it up. It's not like he's just pulling this out of nowhere. So,
actually,
really interesting presentation.
I feel like this has been talked about for some time now. I think he's probably just putting it together and giving it some more legs to stand up. Oh, no?
I mean, it's been kind of theorized here.
Speculated. Yeah, exactly.
What he's really done is put together a lot of original stuff, I guess, is what I mean.
I'm sure.
He has really examined each aspect of the science from the evolution side, which is his specialty.
Filled in the blanks, so to speak.
Technology. So, you'd have to watch it. It's really good.
Oh, I would. Yeah, I will.
So, really cool stuff. So that's kind of we did too. So bats are people too. We saw there. So
Jock's got my back. Yeah. We're on the same. Me and Jock got this.
You and who? Jock.
Yeah.
No, you haven't, Jock. You're like, just kidding. Dirk said he thought he had some great points. I think he has a lot of great points. And, who knows? I mean, I think that's as fair a theory as any, because we don't know for sure when it comes to any potential.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here's what I'm really excited about, and I've been working on for a while, and I'm going to screenshot this. And there's some kind of newer news in there. I'm not going to screenshot. I'm going to share it. So, I've been doing so much. I've been trying to get to articles because I love writing articles, and articles typically for me have what usually get a lot of attention. My articles often get, some attention from other mainstream media. And I think this is something that we, nope, somebody's mentioning you might see the doggy in the kitchen. Yep. Watch this space here for our little pumpkin dog. But it's this. So how U.S. intelligence community insiders got the Senate's attention regarding UFOs. When they couldn't get credible data regarding UFOs in front of the Secretary of Defense, 2 intelligence insiders hatched a plan to get the world to pay attention and succeeded. I think this is really good stuff. This is the heart of the story. One of the things, of course, I talk about the Gordon Cooper thing.
There he is. Yep.
And I'll mention that. But one of the things here, this Vice article, is an important part of it. And I don't know if we can see it. Let me share the Vice article. This is written by our good buddy MJ Benaez. So there you go. You can see. Get out of here, dude. Farmers insurance. Okay, now I'm going to go off. Now they're going to make me do my farmers insurance tangent.
Do it.
Going off on a tangent. So this is what really makes me mad with farmers insurance.
Oh, you really are going there.
I am. These commercials. They keep saying we've been there, done that. And then they highlight these goofy cases. They haven't done. They're BSing us. You know, no doubt that's true. They have been around for a long time. So they probably have ran across some really interesting cases. Well, share those real stories with us. Not this crap that these dogs did this ballerina dance in the water or any of this other crap that obviously never happened. Because that makes me think, okay, you're gaslighting us. You're lying to us.
Oh, yeah.
That you have experience.
It's like when people say you can't make this. You can't make this stuff up. When people say that, I'm like, yes, I can. As a creative, I find that insulting when you say you can't make this stuff up. The best fiction is made up. What are you talking about? You can't make this stuff up.
I can make up some wild crap, so don't tell me I can't make this stuff up.
I go way out there. And farmers, I've always what is up with the name? Were they originally insurers for farmers?
Probably.
I mean, Occam's razor. Go on.
But I hate that. It really makes me mad. I like it's nice to be comedic, but don't tell us, oh, we know because we've done that, and then give us these BS, shove us these BS cases.
Yeah. I hear
anyway.
I'm glad you got that off your chest. You'll sleep better tonight.
Yeah. Our good buddy MJ Benaez has another story. Ex-Intel official says he was the source for the Pentagon UFO videos. And I like this because especially maybe we could even show the video. Should I try to show the video?
Yeah, let's try it. Yeah.
I don't know if I shared here. Let me share it from. I got to
make sure it's the right video. Everyone's making news, posting the wrong videos these days. Just make sure it's right.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. I'll show it right here. Because now I got it fixed, so now people can hear it. Yeah. Here's the video.
Do it.
I knew this was breaking news for the front page of the New York Times.
Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, Christopher Mellon, managed to obtain the tapes from the Pentagon and chose the New York Times to break the story.
I received the videos, the now famous videos in the Pentagon parking lot from a Defense Department official. I still have the originals in the packaging.
This is a case where somebody bent the rules a little bit, and they did so for the larger good, and we're absolutely all better off because of it.
Bomb.
Phenomena.
Yeah, this is from Phenomena. I keep forgetting to do that with James Fox. I'll do that next time. But my point is, yeah, this was what MJ wrote his story about, and it's a great piece of information. And what I like about it is that, people keep kind of nitpicking. Well, did they break a rule here? Did they break a rule there? And Chris is saying, yeah, we bent some rules. Deal with it. And I think that's been a major point. And I love that he's coming out and saying this, because he's saying that, sure, in order to accomplish our goal, we had to bend some rules. We felt it was important enough to do that. Deal with it. And what's interesting is a lot of the people harping about them bending rules are UFO people. So it's kind of like, come on, do you want this stuff out or not? And if we do, then we want these champions to be able to go out there and do what it takes that they can do to get information out, which is what they've done.
Why would the UFO community be upset with that?
I don't know. I don't understand the friggin' UFO.
Unless they're getting political, I don't understand that at all. I mean, I can see it as setting up a precedent that we might not want in regards to other things, but if you're waiting for this news, this moment of disclosure, I can't see them having a problem with it, or why they would.
Exactly. So this was one of the revelations that came out of the documentary The Phenomena, of course, by James Fox. And what was great is there was another revelation that came out. I've been wanting to write this story about, and Chris Mellon, I talked to him quite a bit about it in my last interview with him, about how really this was all a part of a plan. And it explains a lot of why To the Stars has done what they've done, why they've been doing. So for instance, a lot of people, when To the Stars started out, was like, where's the research? I thought they were going to come out, start investigating cases, start investigating these metals, let us all know about all of that. And, we're like, what's going on? But here's what and that's what I've outlined here, is they had a plan. They had a plan to get this information and get the military to admit that they're taking UFOs seriously, which would then allow Chris Mellon to talk to his buddies at the Senate Intelligence Committee and say, hey, here's the data that has been kept from you that you can now see. What do you think of it? I think it's important. I think you guys should take this seriously. And senators such as Marco Rubio, Warner, said, yeah, this is important. Yeah. We want to know more about it. And so he would, ultimately, it was a struggle that Elizondo had, where Elizondo saying, this is important. We need to get this up the ladder. But the Office of the Secretary of Defense was saying, nah. And then the way that Mellon puts it is really funny. He says, essentially, they didn't want this information. They didn't want the Secretary of Defense to even be briefed on this topic because they were afraid it was taint his sterling reputation. Right. And so it speaks to the taboo side of things. They were so, UFOs, no. But then, of course, so they had to decide what to do. They did this end run by essentially kind of becoming whistleblower light type thing, Elizondo leaving, then them bringing this stuff to the public. So to make all of this happen. Batzer People says it's all a huge, big, colossal psyop. I think that's a really ridiculous thing to say because you have no evidence. I don't think you have any evidence to support that. And the thing is, especially if you read my story, there are a lot of desperate people, organizations, motives, agendas going on here. And so these people in particular, not necessarily Chris Mellon, well, somewhat Chris Mellon, but especially Lou Elizondo, or I guess Bigelow, as I should say. These are people we've known for a long time. These are, in some cases, people I've known for a long time, but people we've been reporting about for decades. And for decades, they've been trying to get information out. And luckily, Chris Mellon was the right guy. Coupled with Elizondo and the information he had, they were able to accomplish something. So what you see here is not a big psyop. What you see here is, these people who are interested in this topic getting information out. Now,
to stay on that conspiratorial theme, however, Jock of Ages earliest mentions disinfo agents, and I think Anyways, I think he. I go into headbanging whenever I hear Def Leppard. I just start, but I can't control this, folks. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But disinfo agents. I think he mentioned that when we were talking about why some ufologists are upset at the whistleblowing or them bending rules. And I think that's interesting, calling them possible disinfo agents or agent provocateurs, or maybe they've been the ufology in itself has maybe been infiltrated by disinformation agents. I thought that was cool.
Ooh, Bats of our people too says Jock Itch of Ages.
Oh,
and he's saying, just kidding.
Shots fired.
That was
Shots fired.
I gotta say that was cute though. Jock
and I dislike Reddit too. Whoever said that, I just want to put that out there.
Luis of the Unidentified Celebrity Review says, why has Bigelow not shared any findings? Well, that's not true, actually. And it gets into the research. Look, I've been around for a long time. I've been looking into the details. You've got to research. And this is the problem with UFO field, in any field, is it's easy to make claims left and right. But to substantiate your claims is something different. You have to do the research to figure out really what's going on. So first, addressing the disinfo. Well, like I just said, if you look into the backgrounds of these people, if you really look into, like I do on a regular basis, do a deep dive, I don't see any type of disinfo going on here. I see people trying to get information out, and they have. And how is it substantiated? Look at the Nimitz case. That's essentially been their baby. That Nimitz case with those videos was their football. That was their media package that they were using to get the military to admit that they look into UFOs. Once they got the military to admit that, that justifies then the Senate saying, hey, you haven't told us about this. Now that we've been briefed on some information, especially regarding the Nimitz case by all of these pilots and stuff, and they were also, talked to Roosevelt ones, then they were like, that's, we want more information about it. So that's how this all came about. It's not like they were pushing any story on anyone. What they were trying to do, and if you read the quotes that I have from Chris Mellon, you see that what they were trying to do is get movement, get them to do something, get this topic to be taken seriously, because it is taking it seriously in the military, and it's something that should be taken seriously. That's what they were trying to do.
Right. I was talking about creating like disarray within the ufology community by having some poo-poo the others.
I think the DOD's done that with this case. The DOD,
intentionally, or it happened.
It's hard to say. I think intentionally, but I can't say for sure.
Disinformation is strong.
It was either intentional or it was by ignorance. And I don't think they were as ignorant as they would have been. So, for instance, the DOD has continued to go back and forth saying Lou Elizondo wasn't even part of ATIP, let alone running it. Right. It's a ridiculous statement, because if you ask people like Harry Reid, who created ATIP, or the engineers that were working on it, or people like Chris Mellon or David Fravor, the jet fighter pilot who chased the object with the Nimitz case, they worked with Elizondo while he was on the inside working for ATIP. So we have a number of firsthand witnesses, very credible ones, who can support that. Yet the DOD is saying he isn't, but they're saying they haven't talked to any of those people who can confirm it. Right. Why? They've said it's because we have to talk to people inside of government. That is an absolutely ridiculous answer. And I'll tell you what, I am awaiting a document that if I get it, I know it exists, and I've asked for it on FOIA, and they haven't given it to me, and it's been a long time. I'll be able to prove that they did make inquiries from people inside of the military who could have confirmed it, but they're playing games with us. Why are they doing that? I don't know. My guess is to get back at Elizondo, because he's, he didn't end run. They said, don't escalate it. He said, fine, I'm going to quit, and I'm going to escalate it anyway. So I'm not saying there might be psyops or disinformation or other things going on, but, it's not the Elizondo Mellon that are doing that. The other question was Bigelow. Why has Bigelow released findings? He has. And this is what's really sad. It's just like with Elizondo. The UFO community ripped Elizondo apart. I mean, it was kind of a 50-50. 50% were like, yeah, this is awesome. The other 50% like, oh, this guy's full of it. He's government. Maybe even more than 50%, maybe 75%. Right. And and it had such a major effect on him. And it did to Bigelow too, because Bigelow's working with the government, all this crap. But Bigelow did release, when he had the National Institute of Discovery Sciences, they were releasing papers on a regular basis. Now you can't find those papers. So if you're into getting into this topic, more recently, you will see that you won't be able to find that sort of stuff. But for a while, they were releasing stuff on a regular basis, but it didn't help. The UFO community if I were them, I might even feel myself that, and I do, that the UFO community is over as a whole, more detrimental to this topic by far than it is helpful. It's only a small amount of people that really help. And so that's why people in the mainstream or scientists don't shy away from working with those people, because it's unfortunately all you're going to do is turn your wheels arguing with these people about ridiculous stuff that is so peripheral and so not on point, when
Right.
really
It's science
these guys
fiction.
want to focus on what they can get done. And if you read my article, you'll see, thank God they focused on executing their plan, because they were very successful with it.
Well, I'll have to read it then. I started reading it before the show, folks. I just didn't get as far as I wanted to, because I was sent on a wild goose chase by Alejandro to read another article that he didn't even realize he posted. So
That's true.
that was my morning.
Yeah, that was
And it was a great article.
We'll get into that in just a second. And let's see, Louise is saying, I'm not saying he's full of it. I just didn't see any big findings come out. According to the Skywalker show, a lot of that research was never released and didn't share. Well, I don't know who Skywalker is, but
Skywatch. Is it Skywatch? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know. But there was a lot of stuff that was released, and I would say it's just unfortunately not available. I've got it in my records somewhere, but I think Skinwalker.
Okay. Yeah. That makes
But
sense.
I would say too, I don't know. I would definitely agree that I think Bob Bigelow, now I don't know all of his experiences, but that he makes more of his evidence than so for instance, when he says on 60 Minutes, aliens are here, I know it. I don't know what justifies that statement that he's making, because I don't feel that the NIDS findings and it doesn't seem like would support that definitively.
No, it's sensationalism.
I don't think he's being sensational. I think he believes that. He's not a marketer at all. He's not got no reason to sensationalize. If anything, it would be wise for him not to sensationalize that perspective, because it could hamper his relationship with NASA, which he's been trying to foster.
Maybe I don't mean he was being sensational. I think it was allowed to play because of the sensational element of it. Sometimes people are don't even realize they're being used as tools of sensationalism. Just like stick them there.
Yeah, I think Gas Mask is saying everyone's to the point of assuming everything's a money grab. And that's a really good point. I get that a lot, but in order to, which is kind of silly, because do you get that? I mean, why are you selling us these shaving products? You should be giving them to the world for free.
Oh yeah, I get that. It's people feel like they're entitled more than ever this time. Oh yeah, people. Yes, yeah.
Whoa.
You have customer. I've spent $150 with you. You can at least do this for me. And it's like, try that with Walmart or something. I've spent X amount of money with. I mean, like, you're coming to a small artist and you're going to say that it's entitlement. So yeah, no, I do get that. More and more these days. Oh yeah, it happens. Anyone in the forum that has a small business knows what I'm talking about. People, they have this more than ever in this world, have a bigger sense of entitlement. I don't know where that comes from, but I have an idea or a few, but it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, it's so shocking, because it's like, do you do what you do for free? I mean, it's
an exchange. Yeah. It's a mutual exchange. I provide a service, you pay for that service because you want it. It's not like you're doing me any favors. I mean, like we're both getting paid off here in some way, shape, or form. It's an exchange of energy.
Russell says it's called entrepreneurship. Great point. Exactly. This bats are people too. Tweets a lot. It kind of fills the chat room, but some of them are pretty funny. He just wrote, everyone needs money these days. They will do anything. What's next? Aliens on OnlyFans? That's hilarious. I like that. That's funny. Do you know what OnlyFans is?
No, I have no idea.
You don't?
No.
Oh my gosh. I could see it on your face. OnlyFans is huge. And this is so weird. So OnlyFans, a lot of people are making money off of it, especially young women, because you can go on there and, say, pay me money for this or this. First of all, they have to pay to subscribe. And then when they get in, they pay to do stuff. So people are going on and taking off their clothes, having sex. It's kind of sad, really. And people are making all this money. So everybody, certain people are models and and just regular people are just creating these old high school kids or whatever. Hopefully not high school kids. I'm too young.
Probably
but
high school kids, but yeah,
they're making these accounts and showing it off.
yeah. Nothing shocks me anymore.
I know.
I'm so glad I'm not growing up now. I mean, granted, I am kind of growing up, but I mean, growing up as a child in this day and age, it's like it's a whole new world.
It is. It's really weird. It's kind of like, sending nudies and stuff. That's like normal.
Yeah. Or
That's like-
texting, like checking your girlfriend's messages to make sure. I mean, like it's just a whole nother level of jealousy too. I mean, it's like, having her password to her Facebook page, stalking. I mean, it's just a whole other, that's
But
going
getting back
on.
to the money thing, anything that is going to get major attention. No, you don't have to be quiet. You're funny. Bats are people. But anyway, anything that is going to be a topic that gets a lot of attention, like many people want this topic to get, there's going to be dollars associated with it. And there has to be. I mean, you can't get to that level without that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
I think just people have to be careful. Spend your money
But
where
it
you
can
want.
cause- it's often misinterpreted. It's like global warming, how like they're creating this conspiracy around so they can make money. People are making money off of it, but it doesn't mean that they're doing it intentionally. I mean, it's going to happen. People are going to take advantage of a situation, or they need to stay open, so they're going to make money off it. But it doesn't mean they're doing it to make money off it. It's misconstrued.
Yeah. And a lot of people can't do what they got to do without some dollars.
Yes. You can't work for free. Where's the money come from otherwise?
Think this microphone was free? Think this camera was free?
This was a gift. At least I wrote it off as one. No.
So anyway, read this story. I think this is an important story. It is, it's how we got from nothing to this. A request by the Senate Intelligence Committee that the military intelligence coordinate their UAP research, make a report to share with the public, and that's pretty extraordinary. So there. And how did they do it? These two hatching up a crazy plan. These
All
two
starts
jokers.
with the plan. All starts with the plan.
And it's kind of amazing too, because little did many of us know. Like, I go through the history of Leslie Kean writing her articles, Brian Bender for New York Times, and with Ralph Blumenthal and others, and of course Brian Bender with Politico writing a lot of stories. Brian Bender and I have talked about all of this quite a bit, and he kind of laughs too that, I guess maybe I was doing with unwittingly. Helping Chris with his grand plan. Not that he regrets it at all, because they're interesting stories that he got to share. But Chris Mellon was the hidden hand. And I noticed in my interview, I know that I think Lou feels a little more careful about what he's saying, but Chris takes a lot of pride in hatching this plan and that the plan worked. That's the sense I get from my interview with him. And so I think he really wanted to share this information, and I think he's going to like this article. He's out of town this week. I asked him a couple of questions for clarification. He said he can't get a hold of me, and I just posted the article anyway because I want to write some other stories that'll pertain to that stuff. But so really fun, really cool. But the article, the Wild Goose Chase, what article was that you looked at?
Oh, geez. A red herring, folks. A red herring I was sent on.
Too. If I tweeted it, it was interesting.
Yeah, it was, it's funny because he thought he was sending me to a different article. He didn't even realize he tweeted this one. It's called The Physics of Space War, How Orbital Dynamics Constrain Space-to-Space Engagements. Does that refresh your memory at all?
Well, no, I remember.
Okay. Do you remember hitting send on tweeting that?
Well, here's the thing. So Adam Kehoe, who I have had on the show before, he has a background in information science and information learning. He's a guy with a PhD, smart dude. I've had a couple interviews with him. He wrote a new article this morning that I have not been able to get to. And that tweet, I thought, was
that article? Oh, I see.
article, but that was him tweeting a document that he references in the article. And so, but that's what's interesting.
Yeah, see, I really wish you read this because I didn't do a huge dive into it, but I mean, from what I've read, it's pretty awesome because it kind of explains away this misconception that we all have of what war or engagement would look like in space. You know, we've been digesting space battles since, I don't know, since the early 50s up until Star Wars and wherever it is nowadays. And we imagine how it's going to look, but what we're really doing is reimagining battles happening in space, in the sky, you know, with jets and whatnot. It doesn't look the same in space, or it couldn't look the same in space, is what his argument is. And it's not necessarily an argument; it's just disabusing you of our misconceptions. And fighting in a vacuum looks completely different than all these aerial maneuvers and whatnot. These wide aerial maneuvers, it just wouldn't happen like that. And it wouldn't look the same, including the weaponry. And he talks about one of the earlier programs based on this, because actually our military thought that it was going to look like that, and you know, they were slowly realizing that it wasn't. But have you heard of the dinosaur pro? Okay, he touches on that really quickly. I took down a quick note that just says kind of cheeky. Dinosaur? Really? That was the name of the program. Yeah, someone do a deep dive on that program, though. I'd like to know more about it.
There was some nerdy scientist who came up with it. So
dinosaur? Like, really? That's like pseudo clever. I expect more out of you folks. But yeah, so I thought that was just really food for thought. Especially, you know, den of geeks like ourselves, or sci-fi folks. That, like, it wouldn't look how it's been portrayed in the movies and on TV. And yeah, so
more like what was that movie with Sandra Bullock, where, you know, she was an astronaut and everything went to hell. Space station started breaking up, but it wasn't explosions.
Yeah,
it was, like,
I think I do.
Shattering, and that was really cool because it was more realistic.
Yeah,
so
it's not as sexy.
People are debating a little bit about Bob Bigelow and Benjamin Phillip. It's always so controversial. It's interesting.
We always go back to Skinwalker.
Has a great point that no one would know about Skinwalker Ranch if it wasn't for Bigelow. True, although really it's George Knapp, because Bigelow didn't want to really bring attention to it, but George Knapp really wanted to share their findings, and eventually.
Although, so what? No one would know about Barnum and Bailey Circus if it wasn't for Barnum. I mean, what does that mean?
I think his point is that, you know, he's benefited. Gas Mask says this is a good question, and this kind of
gravity.
So he says, what's the percent of people trying to make money off it compared to the percent that are actually fighting for truth? I would say about those who make money. See, this is you kind of got me there, Gas Mask, because I would say at least 50% of the people trying to make money off of this are charlatans, are not looking for the truth. Of
course, yeah.
At least 50% of the people, maybe more. So that's kind of the problem with this field right now. There isn't that, you know, this niche that I have, bringing credible UFO news and information, is really small. Unfortunately, most people gravitate towards the speculative, sensational stuff, as opposed to just trying to follow the more credible information. So,
and you can't fault the people. I mean, they don't know. I mean, especially when you put a lot of this stuff on the History Channel. I remember when they just played history on that channel. Middle America relies on that channel. I mean, it's like MTV.
The only channel
not playing music.
This is why I love National Geographic, and I'm so happy I have a great relationship with them, because that's mostly what I write about on Den of Geek, is because they're like the only channel doing real science. The rest are doing just lots of crazy making crap up. Bad are people too. I hope he was joking that Skinwalker was all about money, because nobody's made money off of Skinwalker. George Knapp may have made some money off of the book, but George Knapp, of course, is an amazing journalist who shared a lot of great information.
And he'll admit he hasn't seen anything, right? I mean, like, last time I don't know if that's changed, but if you want to make money off it, you see things.
Yeah.
Future Money. That's a great band name.
Yeah. So Benjamin says Bigelow invited Knapp. They were friends for a long time. They were friends before Bigelow even bought the Skinwalker Ranch. KLAS there was writing stories about that area. But this is kind of an interesting fact too, is that Harry Reid was also friends with Bigelow from way back when. And he went to Ned's meetings and Bass meetings. So he's been into paranormal stuff and has been, been keeping up to speed on all of Bigelow's efforts for many, many years.
I still think that we need to spend the night in Skinwalker. We need to make this happen.
I wouldn't be afraid to do that.
Then put your money where your mouth is, man.
We could go near there. Oh, and that's what some people have. Who told me that recently? Oh, it's Ben, my good buddy Ben Hansen. He knows the area fairly well. And yeah, because they say it's the whole valley that has phenomena,
right?
And of course, they don't like to let people on the ranch. Although I could ask, I know Brandon Fugel now. We've.
That's what I'm saying.
And so I could ask him. He may let me
in the peanut gallery. Wouldn't you guys love to see us do the show live from Skinwalker Ranch in our jammies? Ooh. Yeah. That would be pretty epic.
Why in our jammies?
Did I say jammies?
Yeah, you did. That's weird.
No, I mean our Skinwalker gear. We'll have like t-shirts and stuff like that. And have to what are you talking about making money off this? It's all like branded Skinwalker.
Yeah, right.
I stayed at Skinwalker and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
By the way, for the International UFO Congress, I did a panel with Travis Taylor, Dragon, and Tom Whitmore from the Skinwalker television show. And it was so good. It was awesome. I loved it. First of all, they all admitted that they've experienced this hitchhiker phenomenon.
Yeah. You would tell me that. I still find that very hard to believe. And that's why we need to stay there to see if this is true, if it's real.
Yeah.
If it's the real deal Holyfield. Otherwise, I'm a little skeptical. And I know Travis, you trust him, but I mean, future money, man. Future money. The long con.
Travis the scientist?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he's got like 5 PhDs. He works at Redstone. He's literally a rocket scientist.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just throwing some crumbs to bats or people too.
Oh, what did he say?
We were talking about future money, planting seeds now.
Yeah, Gas Mask says we need to take some mushrooms. I don't think so.
That's going to be legal soon, I think, from what I understand.
Well, yeah, I guess that they're trying to make the bunny mushrooms, magic mushrooms.
I don't think that's a hot idea, but I mean, hey, Well, I mean, it's 2020, so might as well. I mean, let's let.
Yeah, who knows? So I guess that's the stuff going on this week. A lot of stuff related to Skinwalker, or the Phenomena documentary, and the Bats gave me. Thanks, Bats, but I'm not going to do anything inappropriate for you. But they're I lost my train of thought.
Well, you were talking about something else, but you called it Skinwalker. I'm telling you, man, it's calling to us.
It is. It is calling to us.
We have to do this. We got nothing else going on.
Do it. No, let's do it, and we'll film it.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be awesome.
All right, we'll do it, and we'll see if Ben will come with us, because Ben's like the expert dude. Ben Hansen, my good buddy, because he knows some places to camp around there. But certainly we won't be able to be on property. But I'll ask. Maybe we will. Actually,
please do, because I'm serious. I'll go. I mean,
yeah. And then we can
looking at this as a form of pilgrimage. Paranormal pilgrimage is what this is. So it needs to happen.
So Benjamin Phillip is also saying, he works in the film industry. So he's talking about how you can't get good footage without having money. That's a great point, because, we've always got to upgrade our gear to make sure that we're bringing across some good stuff. And We've got good gear, and the gear, for instance, to put on the International UFO Congress, people get mad at us for charging for the Congress. It costs so much money to put those things on.
Well,
And
it's like
that gear
taxes.
that we have.
When people complain about taxes, it's like, so you don't think you should pay any taxes? Like, where do you think this stuff comes from? Do you like public education? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you want to get better? It takes money.
Police.
You like the roads? Like the roads? Like police? Yeah. I mean, it's
Fire
like people forget.
department.
Yeah. Ay. But it's the same thing. Yeah. When it comes to running a small business or getting the word out there, like you're part of a movement, this takes money. So
Yeah.
I hate it when they wave that hold that over your head. Like you're doing something wrong or evil. This is, this is what you need to get the job done.
I'm just
Sad truth.
trying to get information out, man.
Yeah, man. You're doing the best you can. You hang in there, little buddy. You're doing a good thing.
Thanks, Doug.
Shut up.
All right. I guess we've ran out of stuff to talk about.
Material.
Now we're just being goofballs, which is typically what it devolves into. But it's
Sorry,
always
guys.
fun.
Yeah. We put the FU in fun.
Yeah, so there you go. So I'm really excited about, and you know what the benefit though, for the audience, the benefit for keeping to our niche, our special little niche, which is credible UFO information and news, is that we get to interact with the more credible people in this field. That's why I get the Chris Mellon interviews, the Luis Elizondo interviews, that's why I get to talk to these types of people who, and these are the arenas where stuff is really happening, really important, incredible stuff. And so that's what's really fun. So that's what we do. So we'll keep on keeping on, but please do read my article. I'm going to bring it up again.
Yeah, just released, folks. He literally just dropped it right before we went live and then expected me to read it. Come on.
See, this is nice because it's me really big and my article. We can hear you, which is good enough.
I
don't see you.
It's okay. You're not missing much.
There you go. Yeah, so please do read the article. What these guys accomplished is pretty incredible. Of course, I've been ranting and raving about Tom DeLonge. He's a goofy guy, but maybe a little bit. But he what he's accomplished is notable, and you got to give him credit. And then, of course, here's the whole team. What Elizondo and Mellon did behind the scenes. Genius. Mellon's a genius. Read the article and you'll see.
Okay. You're in a tease with that. I respect
but
that.
No, just how he came up with this plan. I mean, how they could get, and what's really important too, this is something that I discovered in my recent interview with Kevin Knuth, the physicist, is that when they got the Navy to admit that they investigate UFOs, that is what then allowed essentially Lou and especially Mellon, because these are people he worked with, to go to the Senate and say, now it's been revealed that they're doing this.
Right.
And not necessarily, I would say it was hidden. It was that, who knows? I think it's just that if you're a senator, why ask? I don't think they ever asked. But now that they're revealed that they're doing this, the Senate can say, well, we want to know more about that, because you assumed we didn't want to know, but we do want to know. We didn't know that there was so much information. We thought it was all goofball stuff. So it legitimized the topic of UFOs in that arena, politics. The other thing, though, that I did not realize that Kevin Knuth, the physicist, let me in on, is that it also legitimized the scientific investigation of the topic, because in science, you can't really study something unless it's a real thing. And with the UFO topic being kind of relegated to the goofy side of things, people do. But now that the Navy's saying, hey, we look into this, it justifies science to say, okay, well, we want to see what you're looking into. We want to know more about this. We want to verify or debunk what you're doing. So it does justify.
So it takes science to make science, is what you're saying, which is kind of a catch-22 almost. It's like saying it takes a car to get a job, but you need the job to get the car first. So, I mean,
You're exactly right. That's the exact point that Kevin was making. He even has a graph and calls it,
Oh,
this
really?
catch-22, this
Yeah.
loop, in that you've got a topic here that, let's say UFOs, in order to study a topic, there has to be scientific research on a topic, but there is no science research. So you're caught in this catch-22.
Yeah.
But now the loop is kind of broken by the Navy coming out and saying this. And so we're in a new world when it comes to all of this. And and it all comes down to, though, and this is what I keep harping to, but Chris Mellon and others, James Fox keeps making this point, everybody does, is that right now is the perfect time to really get a hold of your politicians, get a hold of your senators, get a hold of those senators that are part of the Intelligence Committee and say, hey, we are interested in this topic. We want to know more. We want to make sure you share results on unidentifieds. And that's, I think, a really important point, because they may not make that a requirement going forward. And in order to get that, we've got to let them know that we want that. And hopefully then that will happen.
Yeah. It'll be on the next ballot. It could very well be.
Think so, huh?
No, I don't.
Well, that reminds me, now that we have the second debate, which reminds me, while I say this, now that we've had both debates happen, and see, I had to mute Doug because the debate last night, I noticed that was a good tactic, that way he's not able to disturb us while I explain this part, is that, some people were thinking, especially my buddy Bryce Zabel, who I had done an interview with not too long ago, that he thought that UFOs would come up in the debates. I was skeptical. And in fact, I watched the debate last night with Politico's Brian Bender. He came to the house and we watched it together. He's a good friend. He's local. And if you read my article, you'll see how important Brian Bender was in releasing a lot of different news throughout the year. That's why he got the Researcher of the Year award at the International UFO Congress, if you're not aware, but you'll see it justified here. And if you go to the UFO Congress, you'll see a YouTube on it. But the point that I'm getting at is that that it didn't come up in the debate like we thought it would.
No, it didn't.
Hey, how come you're unmuted?
Because I got control.
You broke the rules.
I'm sorry. I didn't agree to these beforehand. However, Trump was asked that UFO question in some interview. Wasn't he?
He was asked it a couple of times in a couple of interviews, including by his son. But he kind of just said, I don't think there's much to it, but the Navy's looking into it, kind of thing is his attitude.
You mean, including his son? Does that count as an interview if your child asks you a question?
How weird is that, huh? His son interviewed him and Don Jr. and asked him about it. And he had this weird reply. He said, oh, yeah, well, Roswell, I'm going to share. He's saying something about sharing information, but a lot of people thought he got confused. He didn't even mean to say Roswell. He meant to say Area 51. So I don't know. It was kind of weird. But those weren't in the debates. People were hoping out of one of the two debates. But if you looked at either, I watched both debates, there was no room for a question about UFOs. I mean, first of all, it was hard enough to get any answer.
Oh, yeah, there was no policy. Through. I mean, the first one alone, it was just all, what was that?
But there's so many important topics right now. Yeah, and I'm sorry, guys. I just don't think UAP right now are
as important as the survival of the human race.
Yeah, people are dying, and literally right now dying in droves as the virus spikes again in the winter here. So, that didn't
dark winter. It's going to be a dark winter.
It's funny that name. It's relatable, but it's true.
Yeah.
I like people using that because the more careful we are, the numbers, if we're wearing masks, social distancing, we've got to do that right now. We just have to.
But what that comes from, right?
Game of Thrones, isn't it?
No, but it was also a simulation, a smallpox simulation, I think from the 90s, where it was supposed to be the worst viral outbreak ever. That's the new current conspiracy going on, is why did he use that term, a dark winter? But yes, it's probably coming out of Game of Thrones, or it's just the right word for the context of what he was speaking in. But people have related it back to Google it, Dark Winter. Some of these guys in the group, you guys must know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I get into these weird I don't know. Weird conversations on Facebook sometimes. I don't want to say conspiracy, but there's a lot of conspiracy on Facebook that I try I just try to show them the other side or make sense out of some of the things that they're talking about. Like the Biden, the three, JR, have you heard this one too? The 3 red banners on the E in Biden. The 3 red banners come from something from the, I don't know, Chinese Republic of the People socialism movement from the 1950s. And that's what it's like. If that was the case, why would you put that in your logo? You don't want people to think you're a socialist. It just goes against sense. Yeah.
So somebody said, Daryl said that Don Jr. interview was for Father's Day. Batzer People says, why does the guy on the left hate me so much? Does that mean me? He thinks I'm not a hater. I'm a lover. I don't hate nobody. Do you hate anybody? Do you hate him?
Who? Batzer People too?
Yeah.
No. We're pretty much like the same person as far as I'm concerned. Imagine if that was me. Actually, I have the other computer over here, and no,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Bats are people too. You're just part of the lifeblood of this show that keep us on task or on point, or keep it interesting at the very least. So we appreciate your comments.
Is Bats Are People too a reference to COVID?
I think so. I was thinking that in the beginning.
I just got that. Yeah, it wasn't the bat's fault that they were sick with
the
this
bat
stuff.
Was the victim. The only victim in all of this, the bat.
Well, although the bats weren't wearing masks.
Should they have been?
Yeah.
Or the person that the bats got the COVID from should have been wearing a mask, because the bats were doing fine on their own.
Yeah, that's true. And they probably wouldn't mind less humans.
That's true. That's true too.
Yeah.
All of this is true. Folks, we just, we talk the hard talk here on this show, and we appreciate you tuning into this. I don't know what it's turned into at this point. Yeah.
Me either. All right. Well, let's kind of wrap this thing, babe.
Pangolins are people too.
Pangolins are people. Oh, I'm an animal person. That's why I love. Wait till my article comes out. I don't know why it's not out. East Coast, it's already 7:00, so my article's not even coming out on the Animal Kingdom. And but go to Disney Plus, watch the Animal Kingdom, check out the Real Right Stuff or the Right Stuff. The series is okay.
I need to check out the movie. I don't think I ever saw that.
The movie's great. The television show on Disney Plus, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of too old for Disney.
No, you're not.
666. You know the Disney logo thing? That was one of the things in the conversation this morning about Biden's logo. I was like, check it out. You can find whatever you want in any logo. And there's the 666 in the Disney logo. You ever seen that?
Doug, this isn't you and your conspiracy stuff.
I was just telling him it's not real. I was trying to break it down. I was using examples. Hail Satan. Go on. I'm sorry.
But there's really good stuff on Disney Plus, and National Geographic is on Disney Plus, and Star Wars is on Disney Plus.
See, I don't have Disney Plus, so I don't have an educated opinion. I was just being a jerk.
Snarky.
I'm going to go on Reddit and get real snarky now.
Who is responsible for the phenomenon? That would be James Fox. So go to Den of Geek right now as we end this. If you didn't see my earlier interview with James Fox, go to the Den of Geek YouTube, watch my interview that I did this morning. You'll see the man responsible for the phenomenon. And yes, most important, like Benjamin Phillips is bringing up, when it comes to Disney Plus, extremely important, vastly important Star Wars stuff on there, including The Mandalorian, or as I call it, the Baby Yoda show.
Byoda.
Byoda. B-Y-O-A-D-A. Byoda. That's
and Weird
right.
Al. The guy does not age. God bless Weird Al.
I'm afraid to ask you this question, Doug.
Yes.
Have you watched The Mandalorian?
I don't do well with stuff like that. I'm not mature enough is what it all comes down to. It's like sweat lodges. I'm not mature enough to do one of those nude. Not yet. I'm working on it though.
Well, I'll tell
That's
you
all I
this.
got.
You can keep your clothes on
Okay.
while you watch The Mandalorian, and you will still enjoy your. Well, take your clothes off then while you watch
You know,
it. I
you've
don't
been
care.
right in the past too. That what was it? The Cobra Kai. I told you I wasn't going to watch that. I did, and I enjoyed it. So
We
maybe I
usually
have to-
agree.
Yes, it's true.
Like you talking about Lodge 49, I was like, but then I loved it.
Right, exactly. So we walk into these things hesitantly, but at the end of the day, we should probably just trust each other, and everything will be okay.
And people don't. This is one thing people don't get is Baby Yoda is hilarious. He's got a subtle humor. It's kind of a dry British humor,
Ah,
but there is some really good, funny stuff.
there's moments.
And then Renee is bringing Ahsoka is going to be on Mandalorian. Ahsoka is from the Star Wars cartoons, the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoons, which are freaking awesome. And I love Ahsoka. So I'm really excited about that. I'm a big fan of Ahsoka.
I see. I'm not really a Star Wars guy. I'm more of a Star Trek guy. So I got that going on.
Okay. Well, then Star Trek.
I thought you were going to terminate this conversation. I was going to get paused for a second. Muted.
The first episode of Discovery aired this week.
Oh, right. Yeah,
And
I
it's
saw the
really
preview.
good.
That looked awesome. I will.
And
check
it
that out.
reminded you when you were talking about the physics of space earlier, it reminded me of that show because there was something that really annoyed me that was kind of stupid.
Oh,
So I can't remember her name right now. The lead character comes through a wormhole by herself. She's wearing this super suit, right? This suit from the future. Comes through a wormhole and then runs into a spaceship. Space is so incredibly vast. That was
the
absolutely
chances of
ridiculous.
running. Yeah, exactly.
That was pretty stupid. But
Well,
other than that,
now
it was
I'm not
a great
going to watch
episode.
it. You just wrecked it.
No,
for
it's
me.
good. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. Just now you can look past that part.
I guess it's tough though.
All right, we're losing people now at this point. We're not talking about our Facebook people. So, all right, there we go. But there's some advice on some sci-fi that's going on that you guys need to check out.
Doug, you need to watch Star Wars. I've seen Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. The original Star Wars. I just had, and then I tried seeing the new ones back in 2000, and that was like Jar Jar Binks.
not that great.
You lost me with Jar Jar Binks.
But
I'm
check out
sorry.
Mandalorian. I think you're gonna like it. I'm pretty sure you will.
I will, only because you're telling me to. But
It's very different. Than
I have
your
a problem with
Star
cute
Wars.
things. I'm too punk rock for cute and wholesome.
Well,
so
Yoda's the only cute thing. I love cute things. But Baby Yoda's the only cute thing. So if you don't like it, you can be like, stupid Baby Yoda. They still have some ugliness in there.
Okay, good. Ugly's the new cute, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So
Raised by Wolves is another interesting show. That's on HBO Max.
oh,
This is what's weird about it. So I've got HBO Max, but I got it through Hulu. Raised
Same
by
here,
Wolves is the new one by the guy who does like the Alien movies, Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar, and it's like these robots and stuff. It's really interesting, but unfortunately, they didn't have it on the Hulu HBO Max. I can only get it online on HBO Max, so I have to watch it on my computer.
I'll
But
check it
yeah,
out. That
That's
sounds.
pretty interesting too.
And then Borat's new movie just came out today.
Borat, I gotta go watch Borat.
I
Borat
know,
is
I-
free today.
Yeah, we
Today
gotta see
only.
what's going on with
free.
that.
So we gotta
really?
watch-
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
streaming for free today. Today only.
That's good of
Let's
him.
go watch Borat.
Is it about the money? Is it really about the money, folks?
Yeah, not
The
for
long-term-
Borat.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. watch
Anyways,
Borat.
thanks. Are we signing off? Is that what's going on?
Yeah,
now?
we're signing off.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's great to see all your happy, shiny faces. I'm not seeing any of your shiny faces. Your avatars, though. Thanks for joining us once more. And thanks for allowing me to be part of the show once again, Alejandro. I love it.
Thank
me
you
happy.
so much for joining us, Mr. Doug. And thank you all for listening or watching. And until next time, adios.
Adios.
Muchacho.